Hello and welcome. This is Oshi, and I don't know if you can see this, but my cat Monkey decided to join me. You know, when your cat never wanna, come near you when you want it, but as soon as you start recording a video, she's there. But anyway, it's a wishlist type of video. I will try to run through as quickly as I can on the list and insert pictures next to me. Instead, my Christmas decoration about the decks that I'm talking about, so you will know, and you don't have to just imagine things what I'm saying. Hopefully that will be possible, because otherwise I will have to redo this whole thing, and I don't have that much time anymore. So I have a few sections in my wish list. I have an Excel sheet because that's how you manage yourself if you need managing, and I need managing. So I forgot to make a note about how much decks I still have on my wish list, but it's not as bad as it was, because I kind of have a lot right now. And I learned to select and be really picky about decks, so I don't end up with hundreds and hundreds of decks on my wish list, because I think if money wouldn't be a problem, I would just buy everything, because why not? But sometimes it's good to be constricted or restricted, because you will need to set up boundaries. And hopefully this way I will only end up with decks that I'm actually going to be using. We'll see. So the first category is, oh no, but sorry, before that I will talk about the decks I don't want, a few of them at the end, and I will try to explain why. But in general, what really helped me to set up my system was Lisa Popez, previously known as Supportive Tarot's decluttering videos, because she has that great system where she goes through the decks, and she does this with the wishlist type of decks as well, where she looks through her collection, and her collection obviously is bigger than mine, and see why she shouldn't get a new one, if she already has something. And I follow that logic, and it helped me a lot. So I just wanted to give a shout out, because her videos on this topic are really useful. So the first one is, I really want them, but expensive just to get them. And by just to get them, I mean, just, oh, let's just order them today. I will need to save up and possibly get some help, because both of them from the US, and shipping is ridiculous. Not just shipping, but what I'm charged in customs and import taxes and whatever. So the True Black Tarot is the first one, which I fell in love with it as soon as I saw the first few cards, and then I try to convince myself that it's not a good deck for me. Someone told me that it's not that easy, it's not an easy reader, and I was like, oh okay, then I don't need it. And then a week later I was like, nope, I still want it. So yeah, that's on top of my list, but it's already an expensive deck, and I would have to pay so much extra, so I probably gonna get it later. The only one on this list is, the other one is not as expensive, but still, US shipping and customs and all that. Ugh. It's the Lost Forest Tarot, which feels like a beautiful fantasy deck, and I just love how the cards play with each other. So these two are definitely more on the aesthetic side, why I want them, which might not be strong enough reason for some, but hey, I have decks that I would like to have, but they are out of print at the moment, and one of them is the, for me, recently discovered Shakespeare Oracle Tarot deck, and I think, yeah, please do that. I think I'm not the biggest Shakespeare fan, so I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that I always read Shakespeare and whatever. No, I didn't. I liked quite a few, of course, because he's mandatory in our school system. I think in most school systems that has to be. But the cards are huge and they have borders and everything that I don't really like in the cards, but they look like book pages, and I kind of like that feeling. So it's something that I don't mind. It's out of print at the moment because it's low on my wish list, but one day I would like to have it just for that reason. And I don't know, it might be a great reader as well, I have no idea. The next one is not going to be surprising for everyone because yeah, it's the Bonestone and Earth Flesh Tarot, which I saw when it was on Kickstarter. I'm not really sure I want to go down the Kickstarter route, to be honest, because again, shipping, customs, I just feel like it adds too much to the cost, but who knows. But yeah, so I was around when it was still live, but I was just starting, so or when it was still available, because I remember seeing and looking at the deck and then deciding that I won't be able to read with it. Yeah, would like to do something, please. And then I recently rediscovered the deck and I realized that, oh yeah, now I could be reading with it so well, but it's out of print anymore. So hopefully, fingers crossed, there's gonna be a mass production edition, because there are just decks, you know, that would need to be mass produced. I know it sounds ridiculous, but, and I don't mean it in a bad way, I mean it in a let's get accessible to everyone kind of way. But yeah, I mean, this is a wish list, so I can wish for whatever I want, right? The third one is something that I was so sad because I missed out on the last few decks by 2 days, because the seller was selling damaged boxed versions, leftover decks on his Etsy side, and I tried to message him, you know, asking if he could maybe, hopefully, just reserve a deck for me, because I had, like I said, I had 2 days till my next paycheck, but unfortunately I never got a reply. And even if I got, you know, there's nothing, no promises, and no, why would he doesn't need to. Clearly the deck went out, sold out immediately, and by the time you're seeing the images, so you know that it's the tarot bot. And I think that this deck would be my perfect sci-fi deck, because I would like to have one. I have categories that I want my decks to fall into, and in my sci-fi category at this very moment only the tarot bot is sitting. So I tried to message the guy, the creator, on Etsy twice since then, you know, to just ask if there's a hope for a second round of Kickstarter or anything. And unfortunately I don't know why, because looking at his stats, he replies to messages, but he never got back to me, so I don't know. It's probably a system glitch on Etsy. But I haven't found him on Instagram or Twitter or any social media where I could, you know, just follow any updates on the deck. So unfortunately that's not so good. But yeah, I really hope that there's gonna be a second, or I can find one when I can afford to buy, you know, the deck, because I would really like that. Okay, so these are the really would like to categories, and now I have the would like to have them, which is just a tad bit, you know, lower in excitement or enthusiasm, but it's still, you know, when I look through my wish list, I'm probably gonna pick from one of these. And the first one is the Deviant Moon Oracle, and it's on my wish list, and I know it's not available yet, but there are things very often happening, I mean, by posting stuff, and I mean, Patrick is posting, you know, pictures of new cards on his page and on Instagram, so I'm very hopeful that the deck is gonna come soon. The next one is the Field Guide to the to Garden Dragons, and if you know me, I'm a huge dragon person, but I'm a Western dragon person, and this is the only deck, and I'm kind of sad that it's just an oracle deck that speaks my language when it comes to dragons. So I don't like those already existing dragon decks. I don't like the dragons in them. So these are cute dragons, but they still look like dragons of their faces, their head, that I would, you know, like to see in a deck. So this deck is definitely coming to me at some point. The next one is the Heaven and Earth Tarot. This is a recent edition because I was dead set on getting the Darkness of Light tarot for my winter deck, and I'm filming this video on the 6th of December and it went on sale yesterday. But I watched Simon's, the Hermit's Caves video on the Heaven and Earth deck on the morning of the 4th. Yeah, on the 4th, and I was just like, the deck has that kind of wintry, grayish, you know, muted tone feel, and to be honest, I like the imagery a lot more now than I did when the deck was first announced, because I'm stalking, you know, new decks pages on Amazon, and I don't even know where, but I saw the images from the deck, the Heaven and Earth Tarot, and I was like, too Rider-Waite Smith-ish, so I was like, I don't need that. But some months passed by and I'm like, I'm warming up to the idea. I know some people, you know, can imagine how do you not like that, but and now I kind of switched the two, and I would like to get the Darkness of Light at some point if I can, but then again, US you know, deck, so ordering it is much more expensive. My cat is reading my wish list, so it's not on my wish list at the very moment, but I have the Heaven and Earth Tarot as a winter deck for instead, and I think I will get the kit version, which is currently unavailable, because even though it doesn't explain all the symbols on the cards, some said in comments in that video Simon posted that they start with, you know, explaining those, and I need that, so I will get that one. And the last one in this category is the Magic of You Oracle, and to be honest, it's absolutely just for the not true, not just for the aesthetics, but the aesthetics it's really works for me, because these are emotionally evoking images, and I like the keywords as well, so I think this one would work very well with for example, decks like the Spacious Tarot, or I don't even know at the moment which one I would pair it with. We'll see once I get it. Okay, so the next category, they are on the list and I will get them at some point, but they are not the, you know, they are not going to be my first pick, not because I don't like them, but because I have some other decks that I'm more excited about getting them. And usually these are the ones that fall into some category that I'm not in a hurry to get. For example, the first one is the Housewives Tarot. Even though I have that not so good experience with the Zombie Tarot, which comes from the same publisher and I think creator, I never got back anything from the publisher, you know, just an acknowledgement that my zombie deck was screwed up, and at least they would, you know, be sorry that it was put up from like at least 3 printing whatever they called batches. So I don't know, I know it's ridiculous, because, you know, why would they care, but on the other hand, I paid for that deck, and their customer service should cover something like that. If a customer is trying to reach you and ask you about why is that or what's happened, you would at least get back and, you know, acknowledge their problems, but I guess not. So in a way, I'm a bit hesitant to get the Housewives Tarot, because what if I get a screwed up deck again? I honestly am not. When I have to do those minor modifications, I'm not sure I want to do them, because it's annoying. But if I decide to get it, I will get it, because it's gonna be my summer deck, because the cards, colorization, and just, I don't know, the overall feel, it speaks summer to me. The next one is the Ostrataro Tarot, which I'm gonna get for, you know, spring, which is obviously. so there's not much to say. I think the colors and the images are perfect for that season, not just because it's called the Ostrataro, but the way it was made, it's a good one. And even though it was done by 4 different artists, I'm not bothered by it, and I don't really like mixed art decks. I really like those 78 you know, projects where every card is made by a different artist, but I just like them because I go through and, you know, just discover new artists and new deck creators. But I don't think I would ever get a deck because I'm picky, I guess, and there are just so many cards in those decks that I don't like necessarily, so that would be something that I wouldn't want to get, you know, mixed decks like that. Oh, I'm not going as fast as I hoped, so let's switch pace. Next one is the Dark Grimoire. I'm not gonna be able to say this. Dark Grimoire Tarot. I'm thinking about it because there are cards that, like the Hangman, which I think it's impactful, and I would definitely use it for shadow work, and maybe not even for other people, just for myself, because sometimes I need that blend. This is what's happening, and let's not sugarcoat the problem. Okay, my cat decided that it was, she's fine, she's done. Okay. Oh, what else? So I can, you know, use what I want to do this. Okay, so Dark Grimoire. So yeah, I think I will get that as a shadow deck at some point, but I'm not in a hurry because I have decks that I can use for shadow work. Pretty much all my decks, but you know. Which one is the one that I decided that it was for shadow work? I'm thinking about it. I think the Spacious Tarot was one, and maybe the Deviant Moon was the other one. I'm looking at my shelf. Okay, so next one is the Joie de Vivre. I love saying that, Joie de Vivre. Sounds like a revolution. Tarot, and I really want a deck with Paulina Cassidy's artwork because her art style is whimsical. I think that's the right word for it. And I was thinking about getting her newest one, which is coming out next year, because it has one card with a really nice dragon, and I thought that the whole deck would be like, you know, speak to me and that level, but I checked the cards posted on her side and I'm not really feeling that deck, unfortunately. But the Joie de Vivre is absolutely something that I would love to have it, so that's, you know, at some point, but I can't justify it just to get it because I have so many decks already. And I have one here that should have been in the out of print section, and I'm so sorry I didn't notice that. It's the Majestic Earth Tarot, and that was another kind of, you know, interesting experience with the deck for me, because I looked through walkthroughs when I was around the half-year point with readings, but I haven't really started doing videos and stuff like that, where I would use more and more and read more and more. And this deck is full of landscape paintings, and I remember I was looking at the paintings and I was thinking about, how do you get anything from from just that, you know, a forest or something? And then so I was like, I would never be able to read with this, so I don't need it. And it was still available back then. And then now I watched a tag video, I don't remember which one. Yeah, I can't remember which tag it was, but I know that maybe it was the Tarot Collector. But a lot, at least 2 people or 3 included this deck in that you know, tag, and I was like, now I can see. And I rewatched walkthroughs again, and it's just interesting how differently I look at decks now. So yeah, that's on my wishlist now, but even though it's an out of print deck, hopefully it will come back at some point. Next one is the Mermaid Tarot, which, to be honest, I wanted it because I would like to have a water theme deck, and I like how fire underwater is depicted or illustrated. I don't know why, it just looks so good. And there are the cards which I can't remember, but I will put the cards up, so you will see if it's either the 5 of Swords or the 7 of Swords, which has a really cool way of representing the meaning for me, what the card means for me in this deck. So there are just, you know, nuanced things like that, so I think it would be a great reader as well. Next one is not, oh okay, let's I'm gonna finish with the last tarot in this category, and that's the Urban Tarot. And I think it's a really cool deck. I like the colors, I like the feel of it, but I'm not in a hurry getting it because fortunately it's a mass production, you know, so I don't have to just be about it. And it has that dark winter feel, at least for me, and in that category, you know, I would like to have the heaven and earth at first, and then we'll see. But it's at some point I will get the Urban Tarot, because cards like the Temperance I really like. The 10 of Cups was lovely, I know that. And I kind of like and dislike the Emperor at the same time, so that was interesting as well. And I have 2 other decks in this one, in this category. One of them is the Royal Mischief Transformation, and it's a playing card deck, and to be honest, I just want it because it's from the same creator as did the Deviant Moon, and I just like his style. Can't explain it, but I think it's a really quirky deck, and I use playing cards for yes and no answers. So, you know, I already have a deck that a friend of mine made me, so it's not like I need another one. But do we need more than one deck? Obviously yes, so I will have that at some point. And it's, you know, it's in the cheaper category because it's a deck of playing cards, so I can just get it at some point without feeling too, you know, guilty about it. And the next and last one in this category is the Stone Crystal deck, which is, I have it on my wish list for quite a while now, but it's gonna be a study deck for crystals, so I'm kind of pushing it backwards because I feel like I need, no, it's not true that I need, but I kind of tend to pick tarot decks now more than anything else. But I think it's gonna be a good one because I like the way the crystals actually displayed on the cards, and there's information on the back, so I don't have to, I think that's how it works. I mean, it should be. I don't have to, you know, go through a book and just find it. What does it mean? Just pull a card, and I could work with it as an oracle as well. So we'll see. Oh boy, what does my cat do? We'll see, because if she wants to go out, I will need to get up. Okay, next category is the not sure but they are tempting category. First is the Lenormand, which I bet you don't say it like this, and this is absolutely my aesthetic. And Lenormand decks are not, you know, that risky to get, because there are basic illustrations and meanings for the cards, but I haven't started working with Lenormand, so why the hell would I get a deck? And I already made myself one, so yeah, it's on there, but it's not that cheap for a Lenormand deck, so I will need to, you know, think about it. Okay, so let's continue because my cat has left the building. So I was talking about the Lenormand, okay, and then we have the Goddess Guidance Oracle cards, which are out of print, but not in a way like the other ones, because they are not coming back, because the creator doesn't want them to come back. But they are available on some Western sites as, you know, fake decks, and I don't know, hopefully I didn't mess up the sound. So yeah, let's not talk about it. The next one is the Supernatural Tarot deck, and I'm very tempted just to pre-order it, you know, because I've seen a few cards now and I like the colorization. It's that bluish reddish thing, and the illustration is quite good. Dean is better than Sam. Sammy's face sometimes looks a bit weird though. But to be honest, there was a fan created deck, and I don't know what happened with that, because it was almost finished. I think one suit was missing, or only a few cards from that suit, when I just couldn't find anything about, you know, deck anymore. I recently discovered it on Pinterest. I have saved all the cards, hoping to, you know, have it complete at some point. And by that I hope that it's gonna be you know, actually released. I hope Warner picks it up, because this new deck is probably gonna be good, because the few majors are looking good, though I need to see minors first. But that deck, I mean, it's a Rider-Waite-Smith clone. I will insert a few pictures there, and the creator's website is still up, at least it was when I last checked it, but all her social media disappeared, so and I couldn't find anything, you know, if Warner went after her for creating the deck or what the hell happened, but I hope not. I really hope what happened is she sold the deck, and you know, it's gonna come out officially at some point, because it just feels like such a good deck. So I'm kind of sad about that, but I'm looking forward to the Supernatural Tarot deck. But since I really love the series and it just ended, it needs to be good, so I'm holding off. I have this deck on my wish list ever since I came across on it on Book Depository, so we'll see. But now we have some pictures at least, so it's, you know, we're moving. So yeah, that was the Supernatural Tarot deck. I have the Tarot of the Divine on this deck, because I pre-ordered this in September when the first edition sold out, and then I got refunded a few weeks ago, like not even a week ago I think, and it's not available again on Book Depository, and ordering it from anywhere else would be just too expensive. So I'm kind of on the fence if, you know, it was divine intervention and I'm not supposed to get the deck, because to be honest, I only wanted to get it because I had a great deal on it that day when I pre-ordered it. And if there would be a Hungarian, you know, tale included, I would get it, but we're not including it again. I mean, I'm not surprised, just kind of always makes me sad a little. And there are just so much that I don't know about, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but I think it's a deck where you need to know the folk tale or story that the card is about to read it well. I don't think you can just, I mean, I looked at the cards and some cards doesn't work for me that way, or at least I feel they won't. So, but it's a mass production, so at some point it will come back, hopefully, and then I will decide if I want to, you know, move it up or just take it completely off from the deck, from the list. The other one is the Tarot of the Trees, which I've seen in readings a lot, a few of the cards, especially the Two of Cups, and I really like that, but I wasn't, like, you know, interested in getting the deck itself. And then I've seen Dan Michel's walkthrough of the huge new 10th edition, 10-year anniversary or something like that edition, and I've seen the, I think it was the Swords suit with the pine trees, I think. You will see. And they kind of look like, you know, like little guys walking around in the forest, and I kind of like that, and maybe it would work, but I'm not entirely sure. But the idea of getting a deck with trees is kind of nice. And The last one in this category is the Raven's Prophecy Tarot. I really wanted to have a deck with ravens connected to it, and I haven't read the books that the deck is coming from yet. I have them, but I haven't, you know, I just haven't had time. I had to reread Harry Potter for the 100th times. But since then, the Oak, Ash and Thorn came out, and though that deck has beautiful ravens or crows or whatever you want to call them, I think I like ravens better. And but you know, that's just one suit, and it's not like this deck is in competition for the raven itself. But this deck reminded me of the Spacious Tarot a lot, and I'm not sure that since I have the Spacious Tarot, if I need one that kind of is as minimalistic. Both are completely different art style, but they both give me this minimalistic feel, so that's why it's kind of on my list, but I'm not sure what to do with it. Ask me later. And I have a few decks, to be honest, that are going in and out of my wish list. One of them is the Crow Tarot, because at first I really liked that. I've seen a few cards in Instagram and I was like, oh, I need that. But then I looked at the design closer, and it's a collage deck, and I kind of don't like that, because I thought that, you know, it was either painted or drawn or something like that. And I don't know, because every time I'm like, oh, I see a card and I'm like, oh, I want this deck, and then I go and look all the other cards and just, you know, watch a walkthrough, and then I'm like, no, I don't need it, and I take it off. But then something happens again, and someone mentions how well this reads and something like that, and I put it back, and I'm just doing that for a while now with the Crow Tarot. So I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. Maybe one night when I'm gonna be, you know, literally just want the deck, I will buy it, who the hell knows, or if someone will gift it to me and I don't have to just think about it. The other one is the Hush Tarot, which at first when I watched the walkthrough I was like, nope, it doesn't work, it reads completely differently. I remember the Ace of Cups with the skull and the raven. I was like, how is that an Ace of Cups? That's nothing Ace of Cupsy. For me, so I was like, nope. I really like the artwork. I like the artwork style. It kind of has that watercolor steampunk feel to it, which I really appreciate. But I was like, nope, can't read with it. So, and then I watched. It's Kelly. It's always her. Kelly's walkthrough, and she started to explain the meanings and how she uses, and I was like, oh, okay, so it can be actually used just differently, and why is it good? And it incorporates that into, you know, everyday life in a way it should be, and I struggle with that, so maybe I should get the deck, but I don't know. So it's, you know, in this limbo area at the moment. The next one is the Brady Tarot, which I was thinking about getting if I didn't get the Oak, Ash and Thorn, but I got it, so I have my animal deck. I don't need any you know, other ones. I was thinking about, oh no, I'm not gonna mix into what I don't want. So yeah, I was thinking about it, and then I decided I don't want the deck because I have the Oak, Ash and Thorn. But then I, you know, sometimes I just see cards and it seems like such a nice reader and a completely different cultural aspect, if that makes sense, or you know what I mean. So I could just justify getting that as well, and not just justify and then I sit on it, but actually actually use it. But I also have the Wildwood Tarot, which I still haven't started working with it because that's a different system, and I'm not sure if I have that. I would need something else that feels similar in that way, that it's connecting to a belief system, a more shamanistic, and how do you say that, No, because one is shamanistic, but the other one is, if I'm, you know, not mistaken, it's connected to Native Americans' history and culture, which I don't know enough, obviously, about. But I'm interested in learning, and that deck feels like that for me. So I don't know. We'll see, and it's not that cheap, so it's not that easy to get it, because if I remember correctly, I could only order it from the UK, and the UK has left the EU, so shipping and all that jazz is gonna be horrible starting from January. So yeah, I don't know. So it's in my in and out of list. The next one is the Nicolette Giacobi Tarot. I have the Oracle cards, and I quite like them, but to be honest, I only want this deck to be my depression deck, because I kind of feel like it represents depression for me. I know it sounds weird, or might not. I don't know how you look at this deck. I know a lot of people use it for inner child work, but for me it feels more like it represents how I feel when I feel depressed. So, but I'm not sure that if getting a deck that reflects back your feelings is helpful, or it's just makes things worse. So I don't know. I would love to have some feedback on it, but you know, it's such a personal topic that people don't even really talk about it, and even if they do, just because it worked for them doesn't mean it's working for me, and vice versa. So, and one that recently got back on my list is the Tarot of the Magical Forest, which I find it really cute, and I like the frogs. I very like the frogs, very much so. But I had that deck on my wish list because the pigs remind me of my little sister, and I was like, oh, it's good, it would be a perfect deck for, you know, my little sister. But and then at some point I realized that yeah, it would be a deck for her more than for me. But since she gave birth and now she has a little son, I was thinking about, you know, getting a deck that, you know, at some point. So I'm not in a hurry, because he's at this very moment 2 weeks old, so he's not gonna start reading tomorrow. But maybe, you know, that would be a deck that if he would ever be interested in as a kid, you know, in tarot or something like that, it could be an accessible way to start. I don't know, but it's kind of on that list. And I swear I'm gonna finish soon. The last one is the longest one, is the what's not on my list anymore. I'm not gonna go through, don't worry, about everything. I just want to pick a few and say why I don't want them, because I think it's gonna help me, you know, be accountable if I say it out loud. I have quite a few witchy decks on it, which I was initially interested in, but I don't do witch work or spell work at the moment. So, and I already have the Everyday Witch Tarot, Everyday Witch Oracle, which I don't really use, because I don't really use any, you know, spells. I'm not there yet, or I never will be. I don't know, at this current moment I'm not there. So I have the Everyday Witch Tarot, the normal size, which I wanted the guidebook for. I wanted it for the guidebook, but turns out there's an app. I don't know how it didn't come up when I was searching for this, you know, where can you buy the guidebook separately, and Google never once offered me the option to get the app and have the, you know, description of the cards, so I don't need that anymore. I also have the where is it? A Season of the Witch, Champagne, how do you say that? Oracle. Still, my explanation, not a witch yet. So yeah, I don't think I will be, and at least not in that way that I see other people are. Also, the same goes for the Witchling deck and book set, which I really wanted when it was not available, but as soon as it became available I hesitated getting, and then I realized that I just like the art style, and then I you know, it dawned on me that, oh, but it's from the same author or creator as the Joie de Vivre tarot deck, so I don't need to have this just to have the art style. So that went out, you know, from my wish list as well. And I have a couple, like the Elqui Oracle, which I really like the style, but I have Magic of You instead. I have the Crystal Grid Oracle, which I wanted for crystals, but I decided that I have the app, the Rock Pool app, and sometimes I don't connect with the reading at all, so I was like, let's just learn the crystals more and then get crystals instead. I have the Enchanted Unicorn Oracle, which I was an instant like, oh, I would like to get that deck when I saw Lisa's walkthrough of it, but then I realized that I don't connect with the keywords at all, and even though I really like the art style, I wouldn't be able to, or I wouldn't want to use the deck, and getting something just because it's pretty is not too, you know, it doesn't make sense to me at this very moment. Who knows what will happen. And I because I have Threads of Fate Oracle, which is also a US made deck, and it's expensive, but it's beautiful, and I really like how beautiful it is, but I never got past the beautiful part, and I don't know if I don't even remember what's my opinion about the keywords or how would I use it. I would get the Lumen edition if I could, but just to get something because it's beautiful doesn't make sense to me when I want to use it. You know, if I would use it as Instagram prop or, and please don't take it as, you know, offense. I'm not saying the deck is not usable. It's just for me, I never got past that, the price point and how beautiful it is. So it's not that I can't justify it. And I have a few decks that I initially was very excited about, but then I just realized that just because, you know, it was more like I got excited, and if I could buy everything that I get excited for, then I would have like 300 decks already, and I wouldn't use 200 of them. So it's kind of good that, and I learned by now that do not buy anything immediately. I mean, unless it's, you know, I have like 5 minutes and it's gone. So, and stuff like that. Yeah, the Antique Anatomy Tarot kit was something that I really wanted, with the Arcana of Astrology box set as well, but I don't know anything about astrology, to be honest, and you have to know something to use that deck. So, and I know you can learn it, but I already not made the decision, but I kind of know that I don't think I will have that time or inkling to learn astrology on that deep level where you can actually use it. So I mean, a tarot is gonna be enough for this lifetime. We'll see about next one. And I have the Tarot del Toro on it for this different for the same reason, which I really like that, but then I realized that I don't know enough about his movies to justify it, even though I like the art style. And yeah, I think, I mean, I have a few other ones, but I think that was what was I'm not sure if anything is interesting, but you know, that was worth mentioning. So yeah, that was my wish list for 2021. We'll see next year how I'm gonna feel about all the decks. If I'm kind of curious if I'm gonna, you know, have something still on the wish list after a year, or if I'm even still gonna do videos, who the hell knows. So, but we'll see next year. And really, thank you so much for watching. I hope I made sense, and hope you enjoyed looking at cards, because I was able to insert them here. And yeah, that's all. Please let me know what's on your wish list, that, you know, what I'm most interested about is about those decks that, you know, are in the limbo, that are coming and going, and why are they coming and going. So if you would like to comment down below, please let me know, and let's have a conversation. Other than that, See you in the next one, and thank you so much for watching. Bye.